Right now, I want you to get your perspective on this this particular story that's outrage is growing over this morning over a newspaper's decision to publish a map pinpointing the addresses of people with gun permits. Now, this was published by the Journal News, which is based in White Plains, New York, just north of New York City. It shows homes where public records indicate someone living there holds a gun permit. Now, it was part of an article called "The Gun Owner Next Door." The newspaper says they got the information from public records, and it has readers online furious, including one blogger who decided to strike back by posting the home addresses of most of the leadership and staff of the newspaper, the Journal News. That blogger is Christopher Fountain. His blog, For What It's Worth, that's what it's called, can be found at christopherfountain.wordpress.com. He joins us now. Christopher, thank you for joining us. Before we start, I want to just, we reached out to the newspaper, the editors, the publisher, and some of the people who you named to invite them onto the show. They issued a statement. The publisher, Janet Hassan, issued the following statement saying, "One of our roles is to report publicly available information on timely issues, even when unpopular. We knew publication of the database, as well as the accompanying article providing context, would be controversial, but we felt sharing information about gun permits in our area was important in the aftermath of the Newtown shootings." That is from Janet Hassan, the president of Journal News Media Group, yesterday. Chris, first of all, you are a gun owner.
I am.
Okay. What caused you to do this? Why did you do this? Why did you publish the names of people from the newspaper?
I've never liked bullies. I thought she was bullying gun owners by conflating New York Westchester County gun owners with a horrible incident in Newtown, Connecticut, which had nothing to do with, one has nothing to do with the other. And so I just thought, I had initially printed published the publisher, the reporter, and the editor's home addresses.
But you ended up publishing a lot more people, sports editor, things like that.
Them up, and I felt free. Yes.
Can I just walk through one line?
Certainly.
Your objection to them publishing it in the first place was what? That it was an invasion of privacy?
That, and they initially defended it as for the safety of the children, that you would know. Well, for heaven's sakes, 580 times more children drowned in swimming pools. They didn't publish swimming pool addresses.
This is part I'm trying to understand. If you felt it was an invasion of privacy for them to publish the addresses of the gun owners, why then is the response to invade their privacy by presumably by doing the same thing yourself? Why does the end justify these means?
Well,
how is it any different than what they did?
It's a logical fallacy, I agree, to say you did it too. On the other hand, frankly, I'm not a big fan of the media, and I felt that they were using this to harass gun owners, solely to harass gun owners, so I harassed them back.
So, okay, so you're not a big fan of the media, why sit here in the media and then talk about it?
In the hope that I can provide my side of a gun owner's perspective.
So you like the media when it benefits you?
You invited me, sir.
And I'm just asking, because I think it plays into it that if you don't like something, then you still do it. The same point I think Ron is making. If you don't like the invasion of privacy when it comes to the gun, when it comes to who owns guns, but you're also publishing it. It's like you're saying one thing but doing another.
I'm a writer. I'm a publisher. My name and photograph are right on my blog. They can contact me. My cell phone number is there.
What kind of reaction have you had?
About 99% positive, but given the readership of my blog.
Right. Well, isn't that kind of where we are? I mean, you look at everything that's happening, whether it's the reaction to the Newtown shooting, the fiscal cliff. Essentially, it's not surprising that 99% of the readers of your blog are supportive. We're kind of siloing into very different Americas that are increasingly unwilling to kind of make accommodations with each other. And I guess what I kind of wonder about this is it's part of the general escalation of political combat we see on every front. You don't like what they did, you go back and do it yourself. Where does this lead us any closer to having some sort of consensus on what to do about guns?
Well, I think the media has been exposing, harassing personal details of people for a long time. And so I don't believe I'm escalating. I believe I'm punching back, if you will.
You have had some comments, though, posted to your blog that you say you won't approve because they suggest retribution. They suggest, in fact, we saw on another website a quote, the journalists, meaning they, should watch when they step outside if they see a red spot on their clothing. You worried about that sort of thing?
I'm not. The ones I took down were some, well, why don't you publish the names of their children? Well, I'm not going there. I mean, I do have some limits. I just felt that some of the comments were going down. My original point in posting this was to just show those particular reporters and the publisher what it feels like.
The central question in this entire story is why, right? And Chris, to be honest, I don't know that you answered that question per se of why you would have published these addresses, but I certainly don't know why the Journal News, Journal Register would have published the addresses of legal gun permit owners. I just don't know why. When they sat in that editorial meeting, I would love to know from Janet Hassan, whose statement does not give me an answer, why they decided to say, yes, let's publish this. I'm not sure what public
Chris has suggested that he thinks you did it because they're equating legal gun permit holders with the person who perpetrated the tragedy in Newtown. But they haven't said that. They just want you to know that there's somebody with a gun in your neighborhood.
And they happened to publish it 8 days after the Newtown tragedy, and they hadn't thought of it before, although this has been tried.
But there's a larger debate about gun control going on in this country, which we're all glad for. Isn't this just part of the larger gun? Like, why do you think it's about specifically equating it to the person who perpetrated the tragedy as opposed to, hey, here are all the guns in your neighborhood?
Okay, because if they had wanted to, they could have said, hey, there are 2,454 gun owners, gun permit owners, without publishing the names and addresses of those people. I got calls and comments from abused women who were in hiding from their husband, who now can be a retired New York City police detective who said that Christmas Eve he had already received 5 death threats.
These were legal permit holders the newspaper chose to publish their home address and phone numbers.
Exactly.
Make a valid point.
All right, what do you hope to come out of this, Chris? Other than this discussion that we're having.
Really, that's about it.
Did you ever think this would have gotten this much attention?
I get 10,000 readers a day on a little blog about Greenwich real estate. Suddenly I have 120,000
people are intrigued by the issue. Chris Fountain is a blogger from Connecticut. Thanks so much for joining us. Coming up ahead on Starting